in the spot, ready to get it going. So thank you all, as always, for your commitment. I now bring us to order for this August 2024 meeting of the Maryland Lynching Truth and Reconciliation Commission. I will start with a roll call. Acknowledging those who are in the room, starting with myself, David Falconley, honored as always to be his chair. I am seeing Commissioner Millen, good morning. Commissioner Snowden, good morning. Commissioner Haley, good morning. Commissioner Baker, good morning. Commissioner Davis, good morning. Commissioner Armenti, good morning. Commissioner Coles, good morning. Commissioner Creary, good morning. Commissioner Dupree Wilson, good morning. The 240 number, I want to just make sure that's whether or not that's a commissioner.
It's Kristen McFarland.
Oh, hey, Kristen, how you doing? Okay, so that's staff. Hey, Kristen, staff. Sophie, staff. Let me see any other staff members on the line. I think I got everybody. Okay, cool. So we are at quorum. Yay. So we can continue with this meeting. I will go ahead and move us down with our agenda. Give me 1 second. Alrighty. Okay, so moving with our agenda. So the next thing on our agenda was the approval of the business meeting minutes. I'm not sure if that was sent to commissioners, but as always, we do have the recordings that are made available on the commission website, so we can table that for the time being, since we do have recordings. Moving on with the agenda, my comments are very quick. I'm back. Yay. Trips were cool. It was very hot in Mexico, if anybody's curious about that. For anybody complaining about the heat and humidity in Maryland, just go to Mexico for a couple of days and you'll stop complaining. But it's great to be back. Great to keep this work going. To those commissioners, I saw the emails, I saw the communications. Thank you so much for your diligence, even through the summer, where we know we can get really chill. And we know we got to crank it up because we are now quickly approaching the fall. We've got plenty of hearings to do between now and the end of the year. We will get them done. They will be great. And that requires our energy and our diligence. So with that, I will make space for fellow commissioners for our soul check. Anything that you want to get off your heart, get off your soul, we'll make some space for that. I'll just quickly say, y'all may remember how I felt the last meeting. I feel a lot different this meeting. You probably know why. I'll leave it at that. To my commissioners, anything y'all want to share? Yes, Commissioner Davis, I see your hand.
Yes, I wasn't going to share this, but yesterday it was a very tough day. I witnessed the accident on Route 40 on the way to my cousin's house, and it was very traumatic. Like a tree falling into the highway, and one of the people in the car losing their life. I literally missed that tree falling by a minute, like as I came around the bend. Wow. And like just witnessing it was really tough. I did not sleep well last night, but it gave me a gratitude for life. It gave me a gratitude for all the people I'm connected with, even everyone here on this call here today. So I just wanted to share that. I'm like extremely grateful, but that was like really tough to witness, but I'm happy to be here today.
Absolutely. I honor your vulnerability, your openness with sharing that. And I'll say, as somebody who's in mental health, take care of that. So if you need to step aside, that's totally fine for the day. I understand. I'm sure we all understand that. But thank you for sharing that. And we know it usually takes something tragic to remind us to be grateful, but nevertheless, be grateful. So thank you for that, Commissioner Davis. Anyone else? Any other commissioners want to share something? All right. Making sure I'm acknowledging everybody. Okay, hearing none, seeing none. All right, we will move forward with our agenda to public comments. As always, to members of the public, thank you for being here. Thank you for holding us accountable. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you would like to introduce yourself in the chat, please feel free to do so. Your name, any affiliations you have, your location, if that is applicable. As always, again, we're grateful for you all being here. Moving along with our agenda to committee reports. Any of our committee chairs that want to share any updates since our last meeting, please feel free. No order, just as whoever wants to share anything. Thank you.
I can go if the others are not. Just as a reminder, we have 5 hearings that have been set. That includes 9 counties plus 1 sort of partnering county in Southern Maryland. All those dates are now on the commission website, along with locations as they are being confirmed. We do have 2 confirmed locations. Thus far, Hartford and Cecil counties will be at the Ames UMC Church, and Prince George's is going to be at Bowie State. The other 3 hearings, the locations are still being under discussion. Commissioners should have also received calendar invites for those 5 hearings. I believe that Kristen sent them out a few weeks ago, if not a month ago. So those should be in your calendars at this time. Those 5 hearings, those groups are in active planning with the local community stakeholders. The event stream team has been confirmed for those 5 hearings to both live stream and record the hearings. Trish has set up a meeting with the marketing team, the Hatcher Group, for tomorrow morning, and she'll be joined by a few commissioners. The trauma-informed counselors, Maryland State Police, or other security, and ASL interpreters are in process. Trish last week sent out, I believe, an email to all the commissioners with a summary of the status of the hearings with much more details. That's going to be a new thing. She did a great job with that. So those will be updated and sent out at semi-regularly. And that has a lot of the information in them. I think the 2 other things is that we have 2 counties still remaining that we're hoping to host in a regional hearing. So Howard and Carroll counties are still outstanding. That's becoming more and more time sensitive. So it'll be one of my priorities in the coming week or so. And then, of course, the final hearing will be a combination, at least the last I've heard an update was a combination institutional / theme plus a reconciliation hearing, tentatively scheduled for February, no exact date at this time. So I guess if there's questions from commissioners between what you received from Trish last week, as well as what I just shared, I'm happy to answer questions. The last thing is one of the things that we're also now coordinating is the research, making sure the research that David Armenti and the research group is doing is speaking with the local community county stakeholders. So apologies. Any questions?
So Commissioner Millen, just to confirm, there are 2 counties remaining that need to be scheduled.
Correct.
Okay. Cool. Thank you for that. Any questions for Commissioner Millen? Okay, hearing none, seeing none. Thank you, Commissioner Millen, for that update. Commissioner Armenti, I did see you raise your hand if you want to provide an update.
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. So reporting from the research committee, we actually have met twice since the last full commission meeting, just based on summer and vacation schedules. So on July 22nd, as well as on August 5th, last Monday. So we've been able to kind of get some good conversation moving in that regard, particularly looking toward the scheduled hearings that Commissioner Millen mentioned. So there are a few kind of there are a few components that we are trying to make sure are in place, but also to move along. So one thing being working with the committee and with Heritage Associates to prepare updated profiles of all of the victims significantly ahead of the hearings, as best as we can. first to provide that to all commissioners so they have a working knowledge of all the people, places, and sources and research that are involved and having knowledge of these cases, but also as part of the commission record, to make sure that we have that kind of moving forward. So for commissioners in particular, you should be keeping an eye out for those materials, both in email communications, but also within the internal Google Drive for the commission. So if you're having any issues with access, or there's information that you feel like you should know but you don't have, please let us know, and we'll be sure to provide that, especially if you are a liaison commissioner to a particular county or region. As Amy alluded to, it's extremely important that the planning with the hearings and with the coalition coordination speaks to the research that we're conducting, and really going both ways, because in a lot of cases we're learning just as much from local researchers who have done the work before us as they are getting from us. So want to make sure that two-way street is very active, and even if that means, reconciling information that's not the same on both sides. So again, the updated profiles is a big part of what we are preparing. Also looking at descendant tracking and communication. So another component that the committee is working on with Heritage Associates is confirming what potential or likely descendants, whether they be direct or collateral descendants of the victims, have been identified through genealogical research or other means, and making sure that we are up to date with our outreach attempts. So this is both a reporting issue, but also one where we need to be actively reaching out to folks, especially in the lead up to these hearings in the fall. So that has been a multi-pronged approach. I think multiple commissioners have been involved in that process, as well as with our colleagues at Heritage Associates. But I think one thing we've learned is that having outreach to a potential descendant who is not connected to the work to come from commission leadership is probably our best practice. So we'd like to continue that. So we'll be in the committee will be in communication with, again, both the local coalitions as well as the commission leadership to make sure the right people are reaching out to encourage participation in the hearings, or at least to encourage conversation with these individuals, so they can, they have the opportunity to participate if they would like. If not, at least support the research side of things if they don't want to have a public role within the hearings. So that research and outreach is ongoing. And I'll say I just want to give a thanks as well to all of the various local coalitions. There may be some that are represented on the call, but certainly as we come into planning meetings, we're recognizing, as we have in the past, that in some cases, substantial research reports have already been developed by local researchers. So tip our cap to those folks, give credit, and make sure that that's acknowledged during the hearings, as well as we are doing our outreach and developing materials that become a part of the commission record. So I won't get into all of the nitty-gritty of various descendant outreach and ongoing research that's occurring, but of the hearings that Commissioner Millen mentioned, there are likely known descendants for at least 3 of those upcoming hearings, with varied level of communication going out to those folks now. So I'll be following up with individuals both on the committee level and the liaison level to support that part of the process. But we are encouraged with identifying folks, but it does take a lot of legwork to actually get them more involved if they're willing to do so. So we're definitely going to be drawing on commission work and our fellow commissioners to help with that part of the process. And we should have, I don't have the date directly in front of me, but we should be scheduled for a September research committee meeting. And I think we're probably going to have to find a new date because our typical first Monday is Labor Day. So keep an eye out for that. But otherwise, please do reach out to myself if there are specific questions about where research lives with certain counties.
Thank you, Commissioner Armenti, for that update. Commissioner Baker, I see your hand.
Thank you. Thank you for the update, Commissioner Armenti. I have a question. I have been really hands-off as a new liaison in terms of the research. Is it possible for you to just share like a couple of sentences about what the expectation is for the liaisons? Are we just pointing them to the research committee? Are we pulling materials from the drive? Are we, running meetings between the two? I know Prince George's County has already met with you all, but I'm just curious what the expectations are because I'm not sure I've been meeting them.
That's a good question. And, of course it is variable based on, capacity and timing as far as these planning meetings go. So I definitely understand that. And it's not something that I've been able to be in all of the meetings. I probably should. So understand that. But, and Amy, please do feel free to jump in as well. But for me, the expectation would be to, try to get up to speed on the facts of the cases within the particular liaison county. So that can involve, working through the Google Drive, working directly with myself, Chris, and the research committee to know what materials have been compiled and just starting to build that foundation of knowledge there. As far as the coordination and collaboration, I do think it's helpful, of course, for liaison commissioners to be in the planning meetings for the hearings, and within that, bringing what has been compiled by the research committee into those conversations, especially if I or Chris or one of the members of Heritage Associates is not able to be there to kind of speak to it as directly. So yeah, providing information sharing as far as the research, but also when it's not known, connecting back to the research committee to say, hey, these are the things that were pointed out as being gaps, or these were the things that were pointed out as being inaccurate. Can we rectify or reconcile that information?
Thank you for your question, Commissioner Baker, and thank you for your response, Commissioner Armenti. Very quickly before we proceed, I just want to acknowledge the commissioners that joined us since we started. Commissioner Barnes, good morning, and Commissioner Stevenson, good to see you, good brother. It's been a little bit. Welcome back. So again, thank you all for joining us. Any other questions for Commissioner Armenti? And then I want to make space for Commissioner Creer if there are any updates from Reconciliation and Justice.
Yes, there are, but if there are other last lingering questions for Commissioner Armenti, I'm happy to give space for that.
All right. Any other questions for Commissioner Armenti in research? Okay, hearing none, seeing none. Commissioner Creer, floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Like the research committee, the Reconciliation and Justice Committee had 2 meetings since the last meeting. Some of the things we discussed are the writer for the final report. That's also been the stuff of discussion, at the executive team level. Currently, we have a draft. We're looking at the budget to see what we can offer the writer. We want to make sure that what we offer is competitive, but then also to make sure that we actually have the budget for it. So that is with the OAG staff. And we have a committee of commissioners who have agreed to vet the submissions when they come in. If anyone is eager to join that fun, please let me know. I'll make sure that we all get together so that we can start vetting things when they come in. As for other things that the committee discussed, again, starting to focus on issues of the final report, but then also for the reconciliation and institutional hearing, the February hearing, starting to talk about some of the specifics, issues of, witnesses. Who should we ask? Should we pay them, since that issue came up? And the general consensus was that we should invite witnesses, experts, media, who have a broad appeal beyond, the county hearings. And again, we figured it was best not to pay the witnesses, but looking for people who would have national but also Maryland specific expertise. Some of the names that came up were included people like Damon Hewitt, Sherry Lynn Eiffel, Clint Smith, Deneen Brown, Yvette Carnell, who and Antonio Moore in Los Angeles. And so we also, discussed, some of the ongoing work that the interns that Commissioner Coles has been working with, and they are moving very, speedily to getting their spreadsheet of resources, both primary and secondary, and developing a potential witness list. Say that 10 times fast without caffeine. And, so that should be ready for sharing with the full commission, hopefully sooner than later, but they are making very good progress. We also had a very robust conversation about reparations, what constitutes reparations, who should be getting them. As I said, it was a very, very robust conversation, and I imagine it's going to be the first of what will be many. Looking at issues, for example, of, should, reparations be specifically monetary? Should they be going to, the descendants of, people who were considered and held as chattel property, versus a wider understanding, a wider notion of reparations to, members of the Black community, or even more broadly. And let's see what else. Yes, talking about, potential venues for the February hearing. Some of the ideas that were floated were UB Law, where we initially kicked off the commission about 5 years ago now. Goucher College was suggested, someplace perhaps in Annapolis or Baltimore, and some specific places within Baltimore City would be Coppin State and Morgan State. For those of you who are at those meetings, if there are other things that I didn't mention or that you think deserve fuller discussion, please feel free to jump in and share. Otherwise, I'm happy to take questions, comments, and or criticisms.
To like a centrally located place as we think about travel and commute.
Yeah. We hadn't really gotten that far. This was just sort of, that was sort of a first, airing of, where should we hold this? But yes, I am very much mindful of location and where, that would be. And again, someplace, again, how we define centrally located is, I'm sure we could have a nice lengthy conversation about that. But yeah, we should think about, again, because again, thinking of, Commissioner Stevenson and, others, on the Eastern Shore, or, people coming from Western Maryland, trying to find some place that is, I guess, centrally located, which I guess might put something in, Frederick, or, again, I don't know. And again, my skin in the game is kind of tenuous, given that I'm in California. So, travel's going to be an issue for me regardless. But since the majority of folks here, are in the state of Maryland, it becomes an issue of, what's going to.
And I just saw Commissioner Cole's her comment. Annapolis is designated by the state as the most centrally located place in the state. I'm not just saying that, but it actually is. So just as an option.
Sure. And again, depending if it's on a Saturday, perhaps if the legislature isn't in session, that could be a space. I think it might be interesting if we were to say and ask, approach St. John's College, given their particular history. They might have a little more parking as well. But I mean, that's another piece of the conversation that I'm sure will be ongoing.
Thank you.
Sure.
I would certainly say, in terms of not just the practical aspects of location, but the historical significance as well, is something that I'm thinking about. So, acknowledging my context as a Baltimore guy, we know that a lot of cases involving racial terror lynchings in Maryland had some interaction with Baltimore City, and we don't want to gloss over that. Maybe there weren't any confirmed lynchings in Baltimore City, but a lot of the stories do have Baltimore involved in it. So that's just something to be mindful of, if we can find a balance of, again, what works logistically, but also, given how our hearings are going, thinking about the intentionality of where we do it, keep that in consideration as well.
Yep, that came up and was part of the conversation on Friday. So, we're there.
All right, right on. Any other questions for Commissioner Creary before we move on? All right, hearing none, seeing none. Thank you again, Commissioner Creary. Moving on with our engagement updates. If there's anything that needs to be shared beyond what has been shared by Commissioner Millen regarding our engagement with various counties and regions, now is the time to share that. No other updates? I know a lot of things are going, so your silence, I'm not judging your silence. I know things are happening in the background, so we were good. I actually feel good about this section for once. So I know things are moving. Again, the fact that we have all but 2 hearings scheduled is great. So again, thank you all for your diligence in getting those things moving. So if there are no additional updates in that regard, then we will go ahead and move on with the agenda. We're pretty much towards the end at this point. So let me see. Just want to make sure. Okay, gotcha. All right. So any new business that we would like to discuss at this time? Any new business? Okay. Let me see. What's your hand? Yes, Commissioner Davis, I see your hand.
So I'm bringing this up now because I spoke with a student from UMD last week about something totally different, and they brought up the fact that they had done some research at University of Maryland on lynchings in Ellicott City, and mentioned that like it was in this portal called the Drum, which I'm not familiar with, not being at UMD, but it makes me wonder about like resources that are out there that we just don't know about. And like how we can kind of engage that work as a part of our work as we think about like our collecting. Like I know like very early on, like we were kind of looking at trying to collect things, but I don't think we've really taken anything in, but like how we bring in information as a part of this work. It was like in my mind to bring it up at this meeting and just wanted to share.
No, thank you for that, Commissioner Davis. Commissioner Coles, I see your hand. Is this good? Oh, yeah, go ahead. Commissioner Coles, I see your hand.
We can't hear you. We can't
There
hear
you
you.
go.
Sorry, I was saying if there's any response to Commissioner Davis, I didn't want to cut that off. I have a separate point, so I'll wait until that's flushed out.
No problem. No problem. So my question would be, do we have any connections with it? Commissioner Davis, is this the University of Maryland College Park?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I graduated 15 years ago. Nobody remembers me there. So, so I think that's a worthwhile thing to pursue if we can. So my question would be, does anyone have any active connections with the university that we might be able to pursue? Commissioner Armenti, I see your hand.
Yeah, I was going to respond to that kind of more generally, and that I just think it's a wonderful idea to keep kind of a running list of external resources to the commission. And I'm reminded University of Maryland is a great example. Salisbury University is a great example where, we were going into our 2022 hearings, and it wasn't until early in 2022 that I realized Salisbury and the NAB Center has its own portal basically dedicated to the multiple cases that took place on the Lower Eastern Shore. So, to the extent that, that feels like a research committee task in a way where, we can keep that sort of running list going, but certainly just as people are hearing about things, shooting out a quick email to as many people as possible within the commission. I think oversharing is a good practice when it comes to research in particular. So yeah, I'm all for that. And I'm sure there are various nooks and crannies of research that we haven't come upon. So any of those leads are helpful.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Commissioner Armenti. Commissioner Haley, I'll go to you, and then Commissioner Baker.
Okay, just quickly, there's a young lady, and now I can't find her affiliation, but she's with the University of Maryland College Park named Taylor Lewis. And I was on a panel with her June 5th, and I'm going to be on another panel with her on October 8th with the Caucus of African American Leaders. And she is from the University of Maryland College Park, so she might have knowledge of that aspect of, I guess, resource that Commissioner Davis mentioned. So I will, once I get specific as to what her affiliation is, I will get with you so that I can share that with you, so you know.
Hey,
no, thank you for that, Commissioner.
Chris, you don't want to tell us when you graduate. You don't want to tell us when you graduated from College Park, or
it was a few days before David, I'm sure. Just a few days. I think there was a college there then. I don't know.
All I remember is I look real good on my graduation. I went to all three of them too.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you for that, Commissioner Haley. Commissioner Baker.
Thanks. I'm just curious if there's been like a larger picture attempt to reach universities that might be doing this research. So what initially I thought was, Commissioner Armenti, do you go to be more historic, and might you be willing to do like a lightning talk or something there just to ask if anybody is involved in this type of research or is aware of this type of research at their university? But if that's something you all have already done, like a broader outreach, then ignore me. But it's just what came to mind, because for me, I hear one school's doing the research. I know I did something similar when I was at Culture years and years ago. We're not going to go into years we graduated, right? So like, it's possible that these little pockets of research exist. And for me, I think rather than trying to find a contact for one specific piece of research, it might be helpful to ask in a larger group setting or on an email listserv or something, if anyone who's doing this type of research could reach out to the commission.
Thank you for that, Commissioner Baker. Appreciate you. Any other thoughts on this particular topic? And then I'll transition to Commissioner Coles and her topic. Any other questions? Any other thoughts? I appreciate everyone's insight. Very quickly want to acknowledge Commissioner Davidson for joining us. Y'all doing real well on this August one. I am pleasantly surprised. Y'all have made my day. I thought this was going to be real quick. I love it. All right. Accountability, y'all. It's working. It's working. All right. Any other thoughts on this topic? Okay, hearing none, seeing none. And of course, we can keep the conversation going via email. Commissioner Coles, we will transition to you.
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to say that we've definitely had a lot of great assistance from the two interns we have. They're both law students at University of Baltimore Law School, and they've agreed to stay on with us. I think they're very excited about the work we're doing, and so they've agreed to stay on with us for the fall. But I think many hands makes for light work, and so in for particular, you guys that are at our professors and are at universities, if you have students, are just aware of people that may be interested in contributing to this work, then please do share our internship announcement. I can put that back in the chat. And also thanks, Michelle Garrick, a professor at Loyola, has also been really incredibly helpful with her contributions that have involved her students and interns from her school. And so I just want to acknowledge the excellent help we've had from both sets of interns. And but for you guys that are professors or know of undergraduate students, graduate students, law students that want to contribute, I just try to emphasize that this is a time limited opportunity. And so there really is only about 1.5 to 2 years where a student could have the opportunity to engage in the type of work that's really never been done before and have an impact that, maybe the first of its kind in the country. And I think that's something that would interest a lot of students. So please do encourage them to apply because there's definitely more work to go around. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Commissioner Coles. Much appreciated. Any other new business that we want to raise this afternoon?
I would just like to uplift what Michelle just said. On the Reconciliation Committee meeting on Friday, the interns did a really great job of sharing their research that they have been doing, and they have been doing a really, really, really great job. So really just want to uplift the interns there and uplift Michelle for overseeing the interns.
Absolutely, absolutely. Much gratitude and appreciation for all the work, all the efforts that have been made. And we want to make sure we give that appreciation when we have the opportunity to do so. So thank you, Trish, for uplifting that. Thank you, Commissioner Coles, for all of your leadership in that regard. Thank you to the interns. I know they're not here right now, but much appreciation to them as well. Commissioner Haley, I see your hand.
I want to double uplift that because even though there was some aspect of it that there seemed to be pushback against the level and the depth and the breadth of what the interns brought to that conversation on reconciliation, I think the fact that they brought it there was just so important and so on point, because that invited the discussion to happen so that we could get to what is and what isn't what we should prospectively be looking into as far as reparations, as far as reconciliation for this committee this commission that we sit on. So again, applauds to Commissioner Coles for doing the work, and I was with you. Okay.
No doubt, no doubt. Absolutely. Thank you for that, Commissioner Haley. Anything else that we want to uplift during our new business?
I'm sorry, I just want to say one more thing.
Go for it.
I don't know if anybody's here can talk about it, but I did want to mention, as we get closer and closer to the hearings, are there any other aspects of the grant, of those aspects of the grant that we did receive money for and or partnerships toward completing, such as oral histories, that we need to also look at as we get closer and closer to the end game? Because I'm just not really sure that we know all the different aspects of what's been produced. And we should make sure not to look over that, especially as we get to the point of hiring someone to do a report for that. So, because at some point, obviously, one of my concerns is, as a state commission, the records come to us. They may be shared with other entities as well, but at some point they come to the Maryland State Archives too. So that's what I just want to throw that out there as far as, again, those aspects of things that are being done. Are we making sure we're getting all of them? And to whatever degree possible, that we can start knowing what those products are, so that we can start facilitating them within our database and with our scheduling and our accessioning of those records as we move forward to the cessation of this commission. That's that.
Thank you for that, Commissioner Haley. Appreciate you as always. Any other thoughts on that topic? Yes, Commissioner Miller, I see your hand.
Yeah, thank you. Commissioner Haley, thank you for bringing up the oral history records. My question to piggyback on that is if that project or component of the hearing and data gathering process remains open so that we can use the Their Story platform or whatever is being currently made available to us for the remaining hearings. It was such a valuable part of gathering that information and the stories to inform the hearings that have already taken place. And I would hate to lose that as a valuable tool.
Thank you, Commissioner Miller. Appreciate that insight. Anyone else want to continue to make space for any other thoughts that people may have at this time? Okay, hearing none, seeing none, then we will move on to any announcements that commissioners may have. Members of the public, if you have any announcements that you would like to share, please do so in the chat. I will acknowledge what Commissioner Snowden provided at the beginning. So he said the 29th annual Fannie Lou Hamer reception will be held on Sunday, September 29th at 4 p.m. at the Maryland Hall for the Creative Arts in Annapolis. Please mark your calendars, and the guest speaker will be the comptroller, Brooke Learman. Commissioner Baker, I see your hand. Commissioner, have an announcement you would like to share?
Hi, sorry. Can you hear
That's
me
okay.
now? Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
I was trying to pull up the details, but I think I'm going to get it from memory. Maryland Humanities is partnering with the Banneker Douglas, soon to be Tubman Museum, on a program on September 14th on Black Power in Palestine. So if you are interested in those topics, it's 1 to 3 on September 14th. And we hope to see some of you there.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Baker. Much appreciated. Any other announcements that we'd like to share? Commissioner Armenti, I see your hand.
So this is pretty immediate and perhaps not directly related to the commission work, but I feel like it's worthwhile to say that the Association of African American Museums is holding its annual conference in Baltimore this week. So that's pretty exciting. And I imagine that if not, the direct work of the commission, certainly a lot of these institutions from around the country and internationally would be interested in the work that we're doing, and potentially have ideas for supporting and best practices and things like that. So I will be in attendance at AAAM, not to be confused with AAM, which also happened in Baltimore this year. So I'm happy to kind of be a sounding board for not only my day-to-day work at my institution, but also the commission itself, and happy to share that back out. Perhaps some of our other colleagues will be there as well. I know that former Commissioner Omar Eaton Martinez is a part of I believe the board of AAAM. So we do have a knowledgeable colleague that's already integrated into that work.
Thank you for that, Commissioner Armenti. And Commissioner Baker says she will be there Tuesday. Commissioner Davis says she will be there. I might just randomly show up. We'll see what happens. So, no, it's good to know that we'll have representation there, and certainly if it makes sense to tell the commission story and again bridge collaboration, partnership, always the better. Commissioner Barnes. Okay, so basically the commission's going to be there, so we're good. All right, y'all do y'all thing. Take care of y'all job. Take care of the commission when it makes sense. I appreciate y'all. All right. Want to acknowledge what Commissioner Haley put in the chat. The Kunta Kinte Heritage Festival will be September 14th. Oh man, that takes me back. Ooh, I might need to go. I ain't been there in a while. Thank you for that, Commissioner Haley, because now I got to put that on my calendar to go. All right. Any other announcements? All right, hearing none, seeing none, then we are at the end of our meeting. Taisha's gonna be there too. Okay. Any commissioners won't be at the conference in Baltimore? Nick won't be there. He won't be there. Okay. We got hearty representation, so I'm very confident that the story will be told as it needs to be told. So thank y'all. Yes, so we are at the end of our meeting. I will move us to adjourn. Thank you as always for being here, for your time, for your attention, for your energy. We know the work that we need to do. Just remain connected with the committee chairs, with me, with Charles, so that we are again utilizing our complete energy in order to get the work done. So Iris, is this in regards to AAAM, the reception at Morgan? Mention about? Just want to make sure. I think it is. So if anybody, okay, cool. There you go. All right. So if anybody has nothing to do, 6:30 on Wednesday, which would be me, and it's at Morgan, so it's close. So yeah, I'm going. All right. So another opportunity to be connected and again share about the incredible work that we have done, are doing, and will do. So again, much gratitude and appreciation to you all. Our next meeting, monthly business meeting, is scheduled for Monday, September 9th. Same time, same place. Always be on the lookout for emails as was shared, just to stay updated on all the work that is happening. And with that, I will gladly give you back the rest of this afternoon. Stay safe, stay cool, and I will see you when I see you. Take care, y'all.
Take care.
Thank
Right.
you.